audible? Shobit can answer me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you are the only point of contact to see that whether the things are going fine. So, welcome everyone to the webinar on benefits of lean project management in construction projects. Thanks to PMI Bangalore chapter and ENC Forum for taking such initiatives to improve the management concept acceptance in the construction industry and providing opportunity to speak. Implementing collaborative planning approach, integrating the simple practices from lean construction and project management will be discussed today. So this will help team to better handle the macro and micro aspects of projects, managing the uncertain situations and known unknown of the projects, and bringing project vision among all stakeholders. That is very important to achieve the execution excellence. So when we talk about the lean project management, it's not a new management concept. It is a term referring to the integration of various management concepts like lean construction, project management, etc. The project management gives us a structure to manage time, cost, quality, EHS by handling the various knowledge areas like scope, schedule, where lean construction ensure the value addition in every stage, ensuring a smooth flow of actions and activities, and facilitating team to use all inputs like drawing, resources, etc., and transform to an output and outcome of a project. The collaboration among the stakeholders is the prerequisite for any successful completion of any projects, and we also incorporate best practices from collaborative planning, partnering, and the requirement management into the lean project management aspects. So in another way, it represents the art and science of managing the construction projects and incorporating it into your current way of managing the project, which significantly increase the project performance and productivity. So we have showcased the 15 to 25% improvement in the way the project is planned and achieved monthly target in terms of in 2 to 3 months time by implementing these practices. You may read the testimonials from our website, and you can visit it or you can contact us to know the more details about it. Getting into the benefits of lean project management, which is a game-changing in nature considering the challenges which we are facing in today's construction. There are several benefits of implementing systematic and structured practices from lean construction and project management concepts into current way of managing construction projects. I'm just going to highlight only 5 major benefits today, which obviously the game-changing things which we can do into the current system. But remember, this is not the only benefit. There are several other benefits, but due to the time restriction and to showcase the important aspect, I'm just going to share only the 5 immediate benefit you can achieve by using the lean project management into your projects. The first one is a sustainable and continuously improving system. So any project planning and monitoring system which is implemented today required a pushing from the top, regular follow-ups, and frequent audit to perform. But still we will be in a clueless about the outcome. So today's system, it's a non-effective when not enforced, and we end up doing a firefighting and jugads in between. The sad part is it is repeated for the next project as well, where the lean project management brings the collaborative planning approach, which focus the management skills development of a professionals working in the project, including the client, contractor, consultant, and involving people from all departments. So once implemented, it is self-sustainable and continuously improving in nature. The visual management system, the lessons learning on a daily failure and analysis of waste are helping us to understand. So a better utilization of resources, and more importantly, developing a common sense among the professionals, which is not so common in our system and the projects. The second point is increasing the process efficiencies. The effectiveness and efficiency of a process will be very high when it is defined and optimized by the people who are part of the processes, rather than it is forced by people from the office or any external managed agencies. So we have 3 processes usually: the brick by brick construction of any or the physical work, the enabling project management works like a design to procurement to billing, and the most important, the third one is, which is actually a sub process we can call it, the approval processes, which working effectively in the lean project management as everyone in the collaborating and putting efforts to understand the waste in terms of time and effort, then improve the day-to-day basis. This ultimately increases the productivity and effective utilization of equipment and increase the performance of the projects. So coming to the third point, the team focus on project outcome. Today, everyone focus is on an output rather than outcome. So the people are bothered about what they are immediately responsible and answerable, but what they are missing is the large project picture. So the lean project management brings a team together to ensure the project outcomes are focused and moving away from the silo way of working. The fourth point is the reliable and predictable schedule which we are bringing into the system. So we plan today for the clients and the management. All the schedules are prepared for clients and for the management submission, not for the project and the project team members. But a collaborative planning approach, when we bring, it bridges the gap between the planning, execution, and thus improve the schedule prepared by the team. So this take care of the constraints and assumptions and the risk, so it will be more practical in nature. And last but not the least, it redefines the project delivery strategy itself. We need to rethink the way we do construction today and explore the possibility to revamp the project management. A successful project delivery strategy integrates master plan to monthly phase planning to the weekly and micro planning and the day-to-day targets, how it is achieved in a super flow style. It's important to ensure that execution team, be it a design, a procurement, or a construction team, have a constraints-free, smooth, free environment to perform and complete their daily activities. So implementing the lean project management enable organization to co-create a practical framework in a collaborative way which can handle the uncertainties, the known unknown situations of our projects. I want to quickly take you through two reports which shows the current situation we are facing in construction projects. We are professionals. We have engineering, we have postgraduate diploma in construction management or in project management. We have plans and schedules, but the time and cost overrun is a major problem for majority of the project. Look at the PM network report which is mentioned and the PMI report which is prepared in association with the Ministry of Statistics and the KPMG which is released in June 2019. The cost and the time challenges are huge. And also you can see now there is a poll is triggered and if those are not answered, that can you please all respond to by sharing your views and experience. We have schedules, processes, standards, operating procedures, meetings are happening every now and then. But what prevents us from completing or even starting a schedule activity as planned? Is it unfinished dependent works? Is it a pending approvals or a clearances? Is it a lack of man-machine material? Is it unavailability of design specifications? Or there is a change or a non-conformity? Because of that, the reworks are coming. So the last planner system from the lean construction and the collaborative planning framework will help our professional to understand the reason for non-completion of the work plan for the day and analyze as a team to improve the next planning cycle. Have a look at the slide now, which showing the monthly summary of a reason which prevented the team to start or complete the planned activity for a particular day. This is from a real project, a previous project which we have done. The make-ready approach of the team will be further improved by analyzing the reason, and ultimate aim is to have a team capable of achieving what they plan for the next week. So the slide which is showing, you can see that when we analyze a monthly reason for non-completing the activities after the day they planned, we could see that, for example, the material not available as planned, there is 100+ activities that not happen because the material is not available. So similarly, the equipment problem, similarly, the previous work is not completed or lack of manpower machinery. So all the similar problems will be highlighted, and understanding that will help us to a better analyzing why the things are not happening on a day-to-day basis. Though we have schedules and everything, will help us to move forward. It will be possible when team understand the value of everyone's work and support each other to avoid the waste in terms of time and effort, which is famously known as the 7 waste in construction project. So just analyzing the reason for non-completion is not sufficient. So look at the sample data. This is from another project. A data taken from 150 activities are not completed in a week's time. So you could see that around 25% of the activities are not achieved what they planned because of the rework, and the another 30% is because of the waiting which has happened. So again, another poll might have triggered now. So can you just look into the poll and then give your feedback and your experience? What are the major waste in terms of time and effort that is prominent in your project? Is it a rework due to any changes or a non-conformance or to accommodate someone else's work? Or is it a delay or waiting for approval, drawings and instructions? Or a transportation of materials within the site, or a lot of unwanted motion of the people? Or is it an over processing of checking, billing, design, procurement, etc., or overproduction, which is happening much earlier than required? Have you experienced any time you have a drawing which is required maybe after a month, but the drawing required for tomorrow's work is not in your hand? So similarly, there is an inventory problem. There is an excess inventory and there is a shortage of inventory. Not able to do the work because of no material available, or you are facing a problem because excess material is in the site, so you don't have any working space. So when you look at the reason and the things are not happening, the lean will give you a perspective of how and why the things are happening. That will ultimately help us to analyze and then prepare ourselves for a better planning for the next planning cycle. So in all such cases, someone or many times everyone required to put extra efforts to overcome and resolve and move forward from such situations. So the continuous follow-ups is required, have to work extra hours, equipments will be idle during the initial days and required 2 or 3 additional equipments towards the project completion. So in another way, waste causes the underutilization of the resources as well. So the situation is not new and keeps on happening for years in our project. The proper implementation of lean project management prepare the team to overcome such challenges, at least minimize immediately, and then we can establish a sustainable and continuous improving system, as I mentioned, as a first benefit of implementing the LPM in construction projects. The tools and techniques like first time right analysis and the value stream mapping helps the construction professional to understand the gravity of inefficiency in our present process and explore the opportunity to improve it. So have you ever got a time and interest to analyze what is the efficiency of a process in your projects and in your organization? What is the efficiency of a procurement or a design which is happening in your organization? So this is the real data which are taken from a project, and you can see the efficiency of a procurement and design are only 20.2% and 13.8% when we consider as a first time right performance. So the difference between the traditional way of analyzing the performance, which we will say that, so even if it is any delay, even if there is any rework, we are happy when the work is completed. Take the example, there is a 20 drawing to be a tender to be released. There is a 5 rework happen and 1 have to completely reissue need to happen. So the traditionally we'll see that, okay, only 1 is not happened, so we have 95% performance. But wherein first time right, we will consider only 14 are completed, so that means only 70% time right. Or what is the problem where coming, because of the delay, the 7 days of delay which is happened in a project. So similarly, when you analyze the entire procurement process in this particular example, we could see that in a traditional way of analyzing the performance, it is saying 81% is the performance, but wherein we could see that in a first time right performance analysis, we are seeing that only 20% is what is the efficiency of this particular procurement. Now, so you can see that we lose time and demand extra time to overcome this. Many of us knows the real reason why we need to work for 10 to 12 hours on a daily basis instead of 7 hours because of similar challenges. Now look at another tool which is available in a lean when we are implementing in a project. There is something called a value stream mapping, which is a complicated, and also we can do it in a very simplified way. So I'm just showing a simple value stream mapping example which we have done in a real project. So it's not just a project management process, but execution also built with an inefficiency. You can see the example here. The column erection cycle is taking 32 hours instead of 8 hours planned. So the steps involved in the value stream mapping, which have to analyze the site work, so the key activities and actual time and the people are required, and then coming to the site and analysis the data along with the team. So we ask a very simple question. You have taken a material identification at 2.5 hours. So in reality, why you are taking too much time? Why can't you complete earlier? What is the real time required? What is the actual time you require to complete it? So the team has given an answer of 30 minutes. So you could directly see that there is an additional 2 hours of taken here. So this similar exercise is done for all the activities without questioning further on why you are taking 3 hours. So immediate identification is just to realize what is the extra time required by the team, which they themselves is realizing. So surprisingly, you will see that the value stream mapping study in this particular case shows that 59% of the time they're taken as extra. So that means, the non-value adding activities in this particular analysis is around 59%. Why they have taken too much time, this much time? They were searching for material, delay in inspection, no proper access, inexperienced building supervisor, there's a delay. So there will be a lot of reasons will be coming. But these reasons may not be the real reason. So the value stream mapping will also require a root cause analysis, which will prevent us to perform such actions in the future. So you could see that it's the several iterations are required to achieve a smooth flow of an activity of 8 hours to complete the cycle, the planning cycle. But what we realize here is from the 32 hours, the team has found a way or find a reason how to bring down to a 13 hours of achieving the work here. So the point is the LPM gives a direction, the way and approach to improve the process efficiency as the second benefit which I mentioned in the starting of this webinar. I'm taking you to a slide now which is talking about the project focus, the importance of a project focus, a project outcome focused way of working. Today we split our work as a client, consultant, contractor. Then everyone trying to do their part, but missing is the larger part. Commissioning a transformer or a chiller required to undergo several stages and so for several other critical material. Getting the design procurement done and bringing the material to the site have a lot of challenges we have to face in between. Now think about delaying a procurement process to save 1%. What is the cost or what is the effect on the material arrival at site? So that will be delayed, and further there will be another cascading delay will be there. And there are cases which we have seen, because of that the project is delayed, the cost overrun, and ultimately the last minute rushes which creating a quality issues as well. So ultimately we are losing more money than what we save, and what we lack in many projects is a consolidated picture of what all is required for a project and where they stand. So a dashboard, a red, yellow, green, and highlighting issues and consolidating, bringing all the collaborative information into one picture will really help us. So the visual tracking and information transparency in the lean project management will help the team to move away from silo way of working and focus, the entire team to focus into a project outcome. The incorporating lean into the current way of managing projects will help us to establish effective planning system, which means it manages the known unknowns in a systematic and structured way and learn the lessons on a daily basis so that we can bring clarity, certainty, and commitment into the planning system. We need to improve our planning and develop a reliable and predictable schedules. So what is the situation today? We have schedules, we have a better understanding of what to be done, but uncertainty is there everywhere. How many of you know that we need X or Y drawing to complete the work? I think all of you. But the question is, how many of you know that when this drawing is going to come, or when the material is going to get approved by the client, or when the procurement is going to clear and place the procurement order, and when the material is going to come? So that is where majority of our today's challenge is falling under the known unknown category. We know this is required, but we have no clarity when it is going to happen because of the dependency, because of the delay, and because of the challenges which we are facing in the system. So today when we are sitting and when we are planning, the plans are not really able to give a result. The reason being we are not able to handle the uncertainties and unknown parameters in the system. So this is where we have to bring a structured way. We have to bring a collaborative planning and planning approach as well as the framework into the planning system. And that's how we can improve the construction project planning. So what we required is we need to bring a project vision instead of silo way of working. We should make our people to think value, flow, and transformation for making ready the work by managing the constraints, foreseeing the uncertainties, and validating assumptions, and continuously improving by learning the daily lessons from the failure, if any. What is the importance of daily lessons learned? The daily lessons learned are much more powerful than lessons learned at the end of phase or end of a project, as you have 98% of people who contributed to the failure is still around you or surround you, so that you can correct them and correct as a team. So developing a reliable and predictable schedule is one of the focus area for the lean project management implementation. Now let me take you through a simple collaborative planning framework, which is known to all of you and looks very familiar to all of you. The only difference which I'm going to tell here is a structured and systematic way to implement it. The reliable and predictable schedule will become a reality when you have a collaborative planning framework which is taking care of the macro and micro aspects of a project. So what is the macro? When we have a project, we need to look into the larger understanding of a project, the scope of a project, what are the steps involved in the processes, what are the approval required. So we need to have a better understanding of a project before even start getting into the schedule. But today, unfortunately, many times the people either copy paste from the previous project or take from some friends, or maybe a one planner sitting and trying to put a schedule together without any collaborating with the entire team. So a better collaborative structure, a master plan prepared, understanding the entire project scope, the project management scope, as well as the approval, will help us to have a better schedule. But more importantly, we need to ask a question: do we are taking care of all the assumptions? Are we making too many assumptions? How many assumptions we are making which are really, are we testing the assumptions in a realistic way? Are we foreseeing that what is happening in the uncertainties, and is there any risk analysis which you are taking care? What are the constraints and how to take it up? So a project baseline will be prepared when you are doing these practices, and from there we are evolving the monthly plan. Usually we will have a habit of creating a 1 month plan, but by the time we get the plan and approve the plan, we will be crossing maybe 5 or 10 days. Then we realize what is required for a in terms of drawing or in terms of resources. We try to arrange by the time half of the month will be over. Then you could see that the second half of a month or towards the end of a month, everyone is struggling, working overtime and stretching to achieve the target. So meanwhile, what will happen is there will be a contractor, there will be a consultant, they have their own agendas and targets. So the aligning of the organization target to achieve by end of the month may not be matching with the project objectives. So what will happen is the people will be running behind to raise the billing or to raise the claim as much as possible, which in line may not be in line with the project objectives. So the macro managing, ensuring that all the constraints are identified, all the assumptions are validated, all the risks are identified in the early stage of a project is very important for a better planning framework which we need to establish. So the second part here is the micro, which the micro means from the weekly plans and downwards. By the time we reach the week, we should have a better clarity. We should have all the things that are available in the project team, so that they will be in a position to detail what they are going to do the work for a day, and we can take it forward. So this needs a proper integration of understanding why the works are not happening on a day. So you plan for a week, and end of the week the work is not happening. Then what will happen is the work will be accumulated, and you are taking to the next day. So typically what is happening is in our project, we plan for any work which need to be planned. We typically start saying that, okay, I'm going to complete in 2 days time, I'm going to complete in 10 days time. And we will say that, okay, 70% is completed or a 40% is completed. But ultimately what is happening is towards the end of the work completion, we'll say that only 95 is completed. I have to complete another 5% or 10%. Now, what is the problem with the 5% balance work? The 5% balance work, which taking your resources, you cannot mobilize the resources back into any other area. The next planned activity cannot happen in that area. So ultimately, the project is getting affected. So the real planning which is required, there is something called as a location-based planning in the lean construction, which make the people to better plan to see that what are the sequence of activities required in a project and in each location when this work is going to happen. So your weekly plan, it is a very micro planning. You are aligning the execution performance and the organization target, what you need to achieve by end of the week. So the collaborative planning framework is a consolidation of a last planner system, which is one of the most widely used tool in lean construction, bringing the collaboration and commitment-based planning in a project, giving importance to the person who really does or perform the work. The LPS is trademarked by Lean Construction Institute USA, and this collaborative framework also uses a project management plan in PMBOK, which covers detailed aspects of planning required in various aspects of managing projects. The PMI is the custodian of PMBOK, which is also an American ANSI approved standard. So we need to redefine the project delivery strategy, managing the uncertainty, which develops the gap between the macro and micro planning today. Now you could see that there is always a disconnect between what is happening on a day and what we prepared as part of our schedule. How many of you are confidently say that I can take the plan which is submitted to the client or a management, take the relevant activities which is planned in the week and go to the site and then see that that work is happening. So the preparation, the schedule will happen in one direction, but the way work is happening in another direction. So the people have a feeling this is only for a theory or this is a concept. We are unable to clearly plan and then execute the work. So there is a lot of skepticism is being built across it. So the only way to get away from this is to redefine the project delivery strategy by understanding and defining what is required for a proper preparation of a schedule in a project. So the majority or the success of any collaborative planning structure which we are implementing in a project is based on what you learn on a daily basis from a project. So when we bring this learning into the system, the daily learning of what is the work we planned and what is the work we achieved, the PPC word so called, and also the reliability index of weekly commitment. That means the work what we planned and what the work we achieved on a weekly basis. And ultimately, the third important point, we can say that the consolidated reason for non-completion. So the make-ready approach, what we are practicing and how far it is succeeded in our plan. So if you are having, as I show you the slide in the beginning, if you are having hundreds of works are not happening because the material is not available, what is the make-ready activities which you are doing in the beginning of a project? So the analysis from the day, a good project or a good project manager will get a complete understanding about a project by observing what is happening on a day. Your day, if you are able to complete successfully, your week is done and your month is done. But if things are not happening in a day, whether it is a product process, whether it's a project management process, whether it's an approval process, any failure in achieving the daily target will backfire whatever our target to achieve the project and deliver the project within the parameters of time, quality, and cost. So a smooth flow of an activity by providing a continuous supply of man, machine, material, and information is very much required for a project to achieve a successful completion. So implementing lean project management helps organization and projects to mainly, there are several benefits again, but I'm just telling five major points. One is develop the management skill of a people. So today's world, what you can see is that people have technical understanding. People have a various experience working with the multinational and Indian companies. They work with the consultant, contractor, and then they change the job. So the people have the technical capability and most of them have the management capability also. But what is lacking today is a common understanding of how to achieve it. So we talk very specifically saying we need to have a 10% understanding of a better management concept across the project rather than one person having a deeper understanding of the management concept. So the developing the management skill of a professional equally, whether it's a client, contractor, consultant, whether it's a procurement department, whether it's an execution department, whether it's a quality department, is equally important for all the people, those who are working in the project. So the organization and projects need to really focus on developing the management skills of a project. So we create awareness, educate people through training programs, hand-holding, mentoring, and guiding to implement these practices in a project, reducing the gap between the so-called theory and the practical way of we need to apply these management concepts in a project. The second benefit is, how the LPM can help organization is optimize the work and the processes. So it acts like a catalyst and improve the work and processes through people. So once the people are improved, see, always what we do in our organization and projects is we establish the standard operating procedure or organization way of working by sitting in a conference room or in a head office. We try to implement and we try to enforce in the people. So the people might have come from a various working style and various way of working. They try to again negate, and then the work may not happen, or we will get into a bottleneck or in a process overhead. So bringing all the people into a common understanding, developing their management skills, and then using them to optimize and improve the processes will really help us. So using the tools like value stream mapping and analyzing the first time right approaches and daily analysis, the people understand where they really need improvement and where they can improve themselves, or the opportunity for them to improve will be realized, and that is how the work and the process will be optimized. The third area is increasing the productivity. So once you have a people, those who are develop the management skills and a process which is optimized, what we will be seeing is the output, the throughput, the utilization of the equipment will improve because the people and processes are already improved. And implementing the collaborative planning, what we require in a project is a one single plan applicable and agreed by all. That is what is required for a project. So today's system of there are 4 schedules, one for client, one for management, and one for a contractor. There are 4 contractors, 4 different schedules, and ultimately no one is integrating, and the people are working in a different silo objectives. Some are working to get their civil works completed, some are working to complete their electrical work. The integration and the common view is missing. So the implementing the collaborative planning will really help the organization to improve the performances. So the lean, in a way, the lean project management also focus on value, flow, and transformation. But ultimately this lead to the time, cost, and qualities. But today what we are doing is we try to achieve the time, we try to improve the quality, we try to cut the cost, but we are not giving sufficient importance for eliminating the waste, ensuring a smooth flow of an activity, and ensuring that all the inputs are make it ready before we start the work. So when we know that there are 7 or 8 things are required to start the work, like equipment, machinery, manpower, and the money and the drawings, why we are not making all the things arranged and then start the work? So we start the work with half of the input, we then stop the work and then complaining that the work is not happening or the work is not progressing, or we end up putting additional resources into the work, which ultimately delay the work and also the cost is getting improved. Now, let me ask you a question before I conclude. And just, a poll is initiating now, requesting all of you to respond and give your feedback also here. What is the one thing you want to prioritize your work or your act from tomorrow? Do you want to focus to develop the management skill of a people? You want to explore the process improvement opportunities? Or you want to learn from daily failure analysis? Or you want to define a collaborative planning approach in your project? Or you want to pilot the lean project management implementation in a project? I just want to understand what triggered in your mind by listening to this webinar today. You may have a lot of questions and queries on the concept, tools and techniques and practicality, the challenges to implement this, etc. in the field. Feel free to reach us for any support and also to clarify your doubts. I request you to, any questions you can put it in the Q&A. We'll try to see that whether we can answer for some questions in another 5 minutes. You may also reach us using the Google Forms or the website or a Facebook or email. And to say that the Constars, we started in 2015. to provide management consulting, and we supported organization by providing training and organization specific engagement, that is management consulting. So far, we trained around 1,500 professionals on a various management concepts through 75 plus sessions and facilitated 15 plus projects to implement these practices. So you may please visit the website to review the feedback and testimonials and specific improvements we bring to the projects. You may also download the articles on lean and presentation from the inside part of the website. So once again, thanks to all those who are encouraging us by attending this webinar, and PMI Bangalore chapter led by Colonel Harsha, Sesha, and the entire Yancy Forum volunteer leaders like Shobit, and enriched volunteers like Tanish and Rajesh and Arun, and all the PMI staff and members. So with this, I'm concluding this webinar. So back to Shobit. Shobit, you just help me out saying any major questions or anything that I can answer.
Sure, sir. Thanks to you. Anyways, there are two questions which is asked. I think still, if we have time, we can take these questions now.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm just reading, since I'm new to lean construction, could you please elaborate a bit on last planner system and provide some inputs on basic lean construction management? So this is a question which I have it. The second question is, could you emphasis on target value design? Okay. So first, let me talk about the last planner system. So the last planner system, which is, as the name mentioned, it is focusing on the people who really does the work or need to plan the work. So typically a work, you are assigning an example of a painting work. The work will happen only if the person who really does the work. For in our scenario, probably we can say a project engineer or a supervisor or a contractor in charge. Unless he plans his equipment, his work, his material, the work will not going to happen in a project itself. So there is no point I am sitting here as a planner, a typical planner, we creating 1,000, 2,000 line items and saying that this painting in this particular area is going to happen on 21st of July 2020. But if that is not been prepared by making the things ready, the constraints are removed, and then all the previous works are not completed, and this particular last planner is not, his requirements are not taken care, then this plan will not get it implemented. So the system, the last planner system, always talking about whether the person who really does the work, who perform the work, his needs and requirements are taken care of or not. So this is a very elaborative system, but bringing more practicality into the planning and bringing all the people together. So the collaboration is one important aspect in last planner system, and the second important aspect is the commitment. So the last planner system is talking about 4 major work commitment. One is the should, the can, the will, and did. So not in a typical way say that, okay, I'm going to complete the work in 2 days time. No, the last planner system, which is talking about very specifically saying that, okay, this is the 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 activity with a clear target. I'm going to do it for tomorrow. After of the day, you will be in a position to see that whether it is done or not done. If it is not done, then that generates a reason why it is not happening. So like I show you the slide, the reason for non-completion will be easily analyzed when you have a plan which is much detailed and micro in level for the work need to be happen, instead of a general or a normal commitment saying that मैं 2 दिन में करता हूँ, 4 दिन में करता हूँ. So you will have a better understanding about the work plan, what is required for the work, and why the work is not happen using the last planner system integrated into our planning system. So the target value design is a bit higher and bit what I can say. Probably the situation in India and the acceptance may not be really encouraging us to do that, the target value design in the early stages. So in a very simple way, the target value design is a approach which you are taking in a design. So instead of you design and then seeing the constructability, then you see the cost and see that no, this is higher my budget. Why can't you reduce it? Why can't you change it? So the target value design is thinking in a slightly a different direction, saying that if this is the value I can afford it, and this is the budget I need to achieve it. So why can't you bring all the people, relevant people together, and then work towards achieving that, rather than you design, then think about all the constructability and everything. So this is a coordinated effort of the relevant people. When I'm saying the client, the consultant, and the contractor sitting together and discussing in a more interactive way, and see that how the designs can be performed in a much accelerated and improved manner. So this is really worthwhile to explore in the projects, and what required is a larger commitment from the client and the consultant, and their willingness to get involved the contractor in the early stages of a design. If these three things are there, definitely yes, this is something we can really implement in Indian projects as well. So there is a one more question. Request you could share some books, web link, or technical purpose on a lean construction. Yeah, sure. Definitely, we have all your email addresses, so we'll be sharing some notes and some details for that. Also, you can reach out to me personally, requesting more details. There are conferences are happening across globe. In India, there is ILCC. In internationally, there is IGLC conferences are happening. There are a lot of websites are available with Lean Construction Institute. So you could always refer all this area, and if you find some difficulties, please feel free to send an email to me, and then reach out to me for any further clarifications or information. Any more questions? What is the way to bring several stakeholders integrate? Believe in the plan. We are using WhatsApp to keep all information appraised, but it is all unorganized. I completely agree. So the WhatsApp will not help you to plan. What will happen is, what the real way, what we do, get these things implemented in a project is, we bring the people on a weekly plan. So the better you prepare a plan for a week, the more successful for us to achieve the work. Today, the habit is for a people to come in the morning or sit in the evening and see that what can be done or what is available. Based on that, the people started working. So the approach what we need to do is called as a constraint analysis. So we make the people to work and discuss for a target need to be achieved for a week, for example, and then a reverse question: why you want to start the work and then stop the work and then look for an alternative or a solution to achieve it? So the reverse is, you do a constraint analysis and find out what is pending or what is more required for you to achieve the work, and arrange by the time the work is going to start it. So when we do the location-based planning in a weekly basis, the information will be displayed in your project office. That will help us. For example, a civil and electrical integrated work need to be happen in almost all the projects. But every time what happening is the coordination, the update of status is a challenge. So the integrated planning which we do in the location-based planning in the weekly plan will help us to have more plan, more discussion, making the things ready by the time the work is going to happen. So this really helps the people to improve the and involve the stakeholders into the planning system. Yes, so I think we are reaching to the time. So I will hand over to Shobit.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for taking question. I hope the audience that definitely enjoyed your session on this lean project management. Although it's a new thing, this lean project management in construction, and I'm very much sure that there's a lot of interest which is generated by this talk. So as we are now approaching towards the session, I would like to make an announcement. There's an upcoming workshop which is organized by PMI Bangalore India chapter. It is under the name of PM Enrich, and we have a full day workshop on lean project management. It's a one-day workshop which is a paid program where we have special offer for members and both non-members. So those of you who are interested, who can they can be with us. Others can please conclude this webinar. We'll wait for a minute and then we'll proceed and we'll take you to more information about the paid webinar which is happening. I once again thank you, Tony sir, for taking out time, and a big thank you to all the participants who have joined us today. I hope you have noted down the email IDs of our speaker, and I'll share the email ID of ourselves a chapter ID also. In case you wish to reach out to us, you may please discuss one-on-one. So thanks everyone for joining. Those of you who would like to have more information, let's wait for a minute and then we'll proceed. Yeah, so I'm sure the many of you are still here. So it's good that you would like to know about more about this program. So as you can see more on the screen, it's a one-day lean project management workshop, which is scheduled on 6th September 2019 at Royal Orchid Hotel, Bangalore. It's a one-day duration workshop which will start at 9 and end at 10:30. It will be a very interactive session which will be taken by none other than Mr. Tony Jacob. So I'm sure he'll be able to do much better justice in a one day than what he did in this constrained time now. So we'll be discussing the various challenges what we face in construction in terms of waste, what we have, the uncertainties, and what is the approach to manage those identification and assumption. Then after the lunch break, there'll be a collaborative planning on how to improve project efficiencies, where there'll be a different level framework, and you can have a discussion on application of best practices to improve the predictability and reliability. Towards the end of the day, after the coffee break, there'll be a construction processes and work where Mr. Tony will take you to a value stream mapping process and how to improve process by eliminating the non-value adding things. And the 5 to 5:30 will be a closing session. It will be a really informative session. I'm pretty much sure that whatever information is given in this 20 minutes talk, there'll be a much more clarification given on that day. So all those of you are interested, please do register on the website. I'll soon share the registration link on this Q&A part. So as a special offer to the participants who have joined us today for the webinar, we are launching a half-an-hour discount code. This code will be valid from 9 to 9:30 p.m. and it will be applicable to you guys will be applicable to have a discount of ₹500. The code is flashing on the screen. The code is Lean Enrich 19 and it is valid only till 9:30 p.m. So those who are the members, so instead of paying 4,500, you will be paying a fees of 4,000, and members instead of 5,000 will be a 4,500 rupees. The QR code is flashing on your screen. Those of you who are there on a system can scan the QR code. Those of you who are there on their mobile devices can please reach out or click the registration link which I have shared just now. And this one-day workshop will bring the various important value to you. Like you can see on the screen, you'll get to know why adopting lean processes is important, what value it will bring on every stage, what flow of activities, how you can improve the transparency within project team, and how you can have a make-ready collaboration team among various stakeholders. All those questions which you had now can also be clarified during that same day session, and any other query from your end can be made to clarified on that day. So once again, I request you all, if those who are interested, it's on 6th of September, Friday. It's a full day workshop starting from 9 till 5:30 p.m. and PMI members will be applicable to 6 PDUs also. Yeah, so those of you who are active can go to the PMI link and register for the conference now. You can have this coupon shared with your any of your colleagues also, but it will be active only for half an hour now. In case any other queries are there, please feel free to reach out to us. I'll just share my email ID with you. Hope you have noted down Mr. Tony Jacobs' mail ID. In case any query, please do write back to us. We'll help you to register for this conferences. Now we have only 1 week left, and soon the registration will be closed. So those who are interested can please go on to that link quickly and use that discount code. Yeah, so I hope all the questions and the queries which was asked today was clarified. In case any of this question, I can see there was one question asked by Miss Mandlik, that could you highlight on lean and green concept or lean sustainability? I'm sure Mr. Tony Jacob would be very helpful to answer these questions on one-on-one. After this session, I'll be sharing him the consolidated question queries so that he can answer. But I do appreciate you all if you can reach out to him directly and get all the questions clarified. Now, once again, since we are about to reach our time limit, I would like to close this session. I would like to thank you all once again to joining this game-changing benefits of lean project management webinar. Personally, we had a very interactive session. We didn't expect these many people to be attending, and I'm sure if you guys are supporting, we'll be having many such webinars in the coming time. And in case of any query, do write to us. We'll surely get back to you. Okay. Once again, Tony sir, on everyone's behalf, I would like to give you a big thank you to you. And will see you on 6th September during the workshop day, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.